It's just religion. It's just religion.
Hello, welcome to RS in 5 or Less, religious studies for people in a hurry. Many of us will be familiar with the sight of litter, with the images of oil spills, with the images of plastic pollution in the ocean. One of the first types of pollution you need to know about is land pollution. This is where things like pesticides or waste are not disposed of properly, and they end up seeping into the environment and contaminating and damaging the environment that is there. Secondly, there's air pollution, and air pollution is said to cause millions of deaths a year around the world. But these can be from factories that manufacture our goods. It can be from cars and planes and buses who transport people around the place. And these are things that we arguably need. And so, is pollution always a bad thing, or is it just a necessary outcome, a necessary byproduct of our 21st century life? A third type of pollution is water pollution. Now, this could be whether oil gets out of an oil tanker and decimates the environment around it. We'll all have seen the images of birds and animals needing to be cleaned up, and this can cause many, many deaths and can devastate the environment around it. It could also be from plastic pollution floating in the ocean, and coming from ghost fishing. So I went to investigate exactly what water pollution can look like. I'm here at the Tynemouth Seal Hospital, which is attached to Tynemouth Aquarium, with a little grey seal who we've called Polo. And Polo came into us with some wounds around her neck, and as you can see, it's starting to heal up nicely. But she had rope wrapped around her neck when she was rescued. Rope pollution from ghost fishing was wrapped around her neck, and this is the effect. We are doing what we can to get her back to full health, and it's looking a lot healthier than it once did. But this is the practical effect, the outcome of humans misusing the environment. Now, Polo the baby seal is just one example, and there will be hundreds of thousands of examples like her all around the world. One has to ask, is this something that is just an unfortunate necessary evil? Is this something that if we want fish and chips, we're going to have to accept that some seals, some seabirds, some otters, some dolphins are going to die? Are these just acceptable necessary evils, or is there something inherently wrong with polluting the world in which we inhabit? The book of Psalms, verse 24, says, "The earth is the Lord's and everything therein it." This means that, in line with the principles of stewardship, that we are to look after the earth and we are not to destroy it. However, it's not just the natural world who are damaged by pollution. The number of deaths around the world from air pollution is rising every day. Plastic pollution in our oceans, scientists have estimated that there will be more plastic in the ocean than there are fish in the ocean by the year 2050. All the coastal towns, all the infrastructure that relies on fishing, these industries will collapse, and it will cost people jobs and livelihoods. It's not very loving to our neighbours if we are polluting the environment that we share. It's certainly not loving to future generations, and we have to ask ourselves if accepting pollution as a necessary evil is really just backing out of a responsibility that we have to preserve the earth as it is for those that will come after us. This topic does raise the question of whose problem is pollution. If I am eating a bag of crisps as I walk down the street and I drop the packet, that's my problem, and I've made it somebody else's problem. But I'm not responsible for oil spills. I'm not responsible for industrial fishing. Whose problem is it to sort out? How big of an issue is this for the religious believer? Is it the most important pressing matter of our times? Perhaps a religious believer might say that ensuring that they end up in heaven and in the afterlife is more important than whether or not we drop litter in the street. Other religious believers could say that God will judge us based on how we act and how we treat the world around us. How big of an issue is pollution, and what can religious believers do in order to combat this problem?